The British 25-pounder was arguably the most successful field gun of the British and Commonwealth forces in World War II. This durable and versatile weapon effectively served as both a field gun and a howitzer, firing a 25-pound or 11.3 kg shell up to 12,000 meters. Its innovative design, including a circular firing platform, allowed for a rapid 360-degree traverse, making it a highly adaptable battlefield weapon. The field gun saw action in many conflicts, starting with France and Dunkirk in 1940, where the earliest versions of the gun, often converted from older 18-pounders, were heavily used by the British Expeditionary Force, and many were lost during the retreat to Dunkirk. This loss actually spurred mass production of the 25-pounder Mark II gun, which is the gun that I am currently working on. The maximum use of this gun was in North Africa and the Western Desert, where it was crucial for supporting the infantry and tanks against Rommel's Afrika Korps. Due to the lack of dedicated anti-tank guns early in the war, the 25-pounder was often used in a direct-fire anti-tank role, firing armor-piercing shot against German tanks like the Panzer III and Panzer IVs. It also saw action in Italy, Normandy and the northwest of Europe, Burma and the Far East, and also saw action in the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971. Its service did not end in 1945. It remained the standard field gun for the British Army until 1967. Now, accompanying the gun was the limber carrier that you see here, an essential two-wheeled trailer. It served as the mobile ammunition supply, typically carrying 32 rounds and other vital equipment. The limber connected the gun to its towing vehicle, usually which was a Morris quad artillery tractor, which of course you will see in part 2 of this video, ensuring the gun and its immediate supply were highly mobile and ready for action. So today I am building the British 25-pounder artillery howitzer with the limber carrier, and this will be in the Afrika Korps operations version. Now here you can see that I started the assembly with the assembly of the limber carrier first. The Tamiya instructions actually call for the assembly of the Morris quad tractor first, but I found that the limber carrier has lesser parts to work with, and I thought that would be the best place to get some momentum into the build. And so here you can see me assembling the limber carrier, starting with the assembly of the shell dispenser here, and then following up with the assembly of the mudguard and the remaining parts. Now, worth mentioning is the fact that Tamiya, as it is known for excellent fit, this limber carrier builds up really quickly. It's got very few parts, and you can see that it's got those alignment notches, and you know, the parts really align very, very well. There was no filler required whatsoever, and you can see that I'm simply assembling it, following the instructions one by one, and the assembly of the limber carrier was rather quick. Now, step number 10 says choose either Y3 or Y4, Y2 or Y5, depending on whether you want to keep the limber carrier in the firing position or in the mobile position or transport position. I decided to go with the transport position, and I assembled it in the closed positions. And finally here, the assembly of a few bits and bobs on the top of the limber carrier, and then I closed up the limber carrier box assembly. Now this box actually carries all the ammunition equipment for the 25-pounder gun, and worth mentioning is the fact that, you know, the Tamiya fit is absolutely excellent, and you can see that, you know, it's built up really quickly. I spent about 1.5 hours and I kind of completed the entire build of the limber carrier, just simply following the instructions. Here's the assembly of the tail hook, and followed by the mudguard extension, and then I moved on to the assembly of the wheels. Now the wheels actually come in these two parts. One is the inner rim and the other is the outer tire. It required a little bit of cleanup with the sanding stick of the leftover flash, and simply fits in like so. Very, very nice fit there. And with the wheels finally assembled, I took it out for a ride. And you can see that it rolls pretty nicely. Right then, after priming the limber carrier in gray primer, it was time to start painting it. And here you can see that I've painted the shells with yellow, and the shell racks were simply spray painted with silver. And once that was done, I moved to the final assembly of the shell rack, and here you can see that it looks the part. Then I painted the wheels with black and covered up or masked up the centers of the wheels so that they show up the desert color. And then it was time to paint the main limber carrier, and this is basically being painted with Fevicryl desert color. This was produced by mixing Fevicryl Van Dyke brown, white and yellow to give it that desert shade. And the entire painting was completed in like 20 minutes of painting. And once the paint had dried up, I moved on to a bit of weathering using the Tamiya panel line accent color. This is the first time I've used it, and once that was dry, I used a cotton Q-tip to clear up the excess. Now there's just one decal, and it was very easy to fix the decal on the mudguard of the limber carrier. And that basically completed the assembly and painting. So I then followed up with the more complex assembly of the 25-pounder gun, and you can see that I'm cutting out the parts and assembling them as it was given in the instructions, and it was pretty easy to follow the Tamiya instructions. And a very nifty piece they gave here is the recoil system of this gun. Very nice, but you have to be careful not to glue this. The instructions at this point are not very clear, and you could end up making that mistake of gluing it inside that section or the rail in which it moves forward and backward. I ended up making that mistake, but I quickly realized it and corrected it. Right, the next step was to build the base of the gun, and I started off by assembling the two outer fenders together. A little bit of cleanup of the flash was required. There was actually no flash, but it was the leftover sprue which resulted from cutting it out from the sprue tree. So now I am assembling the outermost fenders, and they are joined together by this brace in the middle, and they've got very nicely aligning notches, and you can very easily affix the base together. Once that was done, I moved on to the assembly of the ranging and azimuth sight, and this had really small and fiddly parts. As you can see there, they were very small. Irrespective of how small they were, they would just pop out of my hand. You can see the range and azimuth driver levers. They're so small, and time and again they would either fall off the assembly mount, or they would just flip out of my hand, and it took me quite a while to assemble this entire ranging assembly. Right, so here's a look at the upper part of the gun, and then I moved on to the assembly of the front shield of the gun. Cut off the parts of the sprues and started assembling them together. And here there's a sprue that, if you've seen my unboxing video, I mentioned I'm not sure where that piece of rope goes. So this exactly is where the rope goes. It goes on the shield next to the shovel. And then I started off with assembling smaller parts together. Now these small parts, I must say, they add in a lot of detail to the gun on the in a 35th scale. And then I assembled the axle of the the gun, and then moved on to the assembly of the traverse. Now, the traverse can actually be assembled in two positions. One is that you're moving it around 360 degrees, but since I am constructing mine in the mobile position where it is being towed by the tractor, I decided to fix that center little piece in one position. And there are the two different methods shown in the instructions, and if you follow it to the T, you can actually build it the way you want to. So now I have dry test fitted the wheels, and here I am fixing the traverse, and that basically completed the assembly, and I moved on to the painting of the gun. Now the painting is a repeat of the process that I did with the limber carrier. So this is the same improvised Fevicryl desert sand color or tan color or sand color, whatever you might want to call it. And this is Van Dyke brown, white and yellow mixed in various ratios to produce that desert tone or tonality of the color. And I completed it in one sitting. And here you can see me now detailing the shovel head and the shovel handle. I used acrylic paint pens to detail the shovel handle. And finally, once the paint had dried, I moved on to the weathering, again using Tamiya Panaline accent color to liberally apply it all over the gun to show a used and worn look. And that was the last step in completing the model. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, with the beauty shots of the limber carrier in 1/35th scale and the artillery gun as well. Now, I began with the notion that Tamiya kits are splendid and excellent in their fit, and I found that Tamiya has lived up to its name with this kit. Really enjoyed building it. It's quite simple to put together, and considering that it's a single color paint scheme, it's very easy to paint it as well. So if you've enjoyed watching the video till here, I would say stay tuned for part 2 of this video, which will be the Morris tractor coming up next. If you liked the video, click the thumbs up to consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to comment. Thank you very much for watching the video, ladies and gentlemen. See you again later. Bye bye.